Welcome to another Troubadour Reacts, and oh my goodness, how everything can change from a single music video. And man, am I excited to have randomly, or not really randomly, but just kind of accidentally rolled into the Reniverse. Boy, so I started reactions recently, and I went, as I mentioned in that video, the video of my first introduction to Ren for High Ren. And that was mentioned to me by a friend. I went to her polo match and we were talking about reactions, and she said, go check out this one. And I did it. And man, the community in just a day and a half. So I'm doing this on Monday. I posted that late Saturday night, and I recorded that late Saturday night. And the community has been so wonderful. I mean, I like Ren a lot. I'm still getting into it, but just any creator who has developed however he's done it, such a benevolent community has done something right, I think. I don't know what it is necessarily, but he's done something beautiful and put something beautiful into the world. And so I appreciate him just for that, just for whatever it is, whatever the heck he's done. He's created a benevolent community, because I've met some great communities doing this very, I don't make any money from this. Like, I'm doing this just on the side for some fun and to learn and expand my experience with art. But I've, met the Bob Dylan community, the Rush community, even Tupac and Biggie communities. And there's a lot of wonderful people that have expressed interest, and they've been wonderful. But there was something a little unique, and I don't want to, have communities comparing themselves too much or anything. Everyone's unique. But there was just something very special about the extraordinary outburst of pleasure that I saw from from all of you, from the community. And I just want to point out one. There was a lot, and I have not been able to read 306. I think it's up to 363 comments in a day, and some of them are long. And I tried to read through some. I've responded to a couple, so I'm trying, because I'd like to read all of them. I'd like to talk to you guys. But it is a lot. And again, I'm not getting money for this, but I love that you guys are commenting. But here's one that I really thought was cool. And I saw this a lot. And, after listening to probably 300 reactions to High Ren, such a pleasure to hear the thoughts of obviously a literary connoisseur. I'm glad you say so. That's very nice of you. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. And ordered a copy of your Iliad translation. So thank you. That has been such a great thing. And that I've seen in this a connection to literature, that there's such a literary community, which for me is very exciting. And I did want to say that also Ren, his copyright is really wonderful. Hopefully he gets the funds from my video, because I don't get it. I hope he gets it, and I get that, because I'm kind of getting a like the moon or something. The shine from the sun is what I'm kind of reflecting all of you wonderful people. So, but he also has a merchandise website, so I'll probably order something. I'll put like a little link up. But if you haven't checked out his Ren merch, I think it's his. Go check it out, because he should. If I bring anything for him, I hope I can. Teeny little bit. He deserves it, because the community he's built. Now, if you do want to support me, you can go to troubadour.studio. And I have a website. It's just me running that website. I don't have partners. I'm a solopreneur, and it's just a kind of side thing. And I have an art social group there, actually, where it's open to the public. I haven't really advertised it yet, but we're just getting started with it. But share art whether Ren's or otherwise, that you love. And I'll leave links down below, but it's a group on my personal website. Again, it's just my website. It's not shared with anybody else. And then if you are interested, I do have an Iliad translation. So I spent a lot of time, because I've read ancient Greek, all the way to Melville literature, but a lot of the older books are really difficult to pick up and understand. And my goal with this was to be an actual translation of the Iliad. So this is a line-by-line translation of the Iliad, but I've made some small tweaks to make it a little bit easier to read. And I've developed and I've put the language down to what I would call this almost a young adult version, where I think a young adult, like I really hope high school kids could, or anybody who it's their first time. Like, this is the book I wish I would have had when it was my first time reading it. When I was very young, I was, before a teenager, I was preteen when I first read it. Okay, so we're going to look through for the first time The Tale of Jenny and Screech. I hope I got this correct and that this is the correct video for me to comment on and react to. I hope this is the right one. It is his official music video, and so we'll see. So I'm going to just get into this. I have not heard this before, but I have seen some people mention in the comments that this is one of the ones they'd like me to react to. So I'm going to react, and let's get into this. I mean, it's clearly like he's got the vibe of a troubadour, right? He's like just on the streets by himself, wandering around telling stories. Oh no, that's awesome. That's very troubadour or jongleur. We could mention that later.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street. Somewhere in London City.
I like that.
Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape. Can you blame?
Ooh.
Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain. He'd been smoking ganja with the boys.
Okay.
James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief. At 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware. Maybe intuition bogging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance to the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns the corner, their eyes they meet. A poor girl Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Near light, liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete. And he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
Oh no. But okay, so there's a lot of I've wanted to pause for a while, but man, so I'm just going to keep this really brief. I want to maybe discuss a little bit more afterwards. So just a couple of things I've noticed. So I'm seeing a lot of, I want to talk about Thomas Hardy, and actually we're covering in my literary canon club, that is a book club that I run, Middlemarch. This is my first time reading this, but I'm seeing a lot of this, which was a shift in English novels in that time. Tess de Ubervilles. If you've never read Tess of the D'Ubervilles by Thomas Hardy, that's a wonderful story. And there's a kind of innocent young woman, alone, vulnerable, walking into tragedy. That's the sense that I get from here. Right away, is there's a kind of walking into tragedy. I wrote down a kind of painting that I want to share later that I think might be interesting to kind of show this. And I'm trying to remember the name of who did it, but it's something like Whistler or something like that. And I want to kind of mention that. And then I've noticed some more, this whole idea of London as a specific kind of place. I talked, I think, in the last video about there's a poem by London, but William Blake has a wonderful poem. I think Mind-Forged Manacles, and the kind of disease-ridden and the disgust things happen, but coming from a place of like, I kind of love London too, and it's a conflicting thing. And then of course there's Dickens, Oliver Twist all over this. But okay, I want to get back into this.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street.
Loving the style.
Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped.
Okay.
It's such a shame.
Got a nice voice. 'Cause, 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 'cause Oh, I paused it too soon. Sorry, I should have waited till here. I don't, like I said, it's my first reaction. Oh, there it goes. Ooh. That hits. Oh, is this one I already saw? Or? Oh, okay. I don't know. It's like I said, this is my first time. I really don't know. Oh, Screech's tale. Okay. Oh, got it. So we heard Jenny's tale.
Our story, it starts right at the end.
Oh, the kind of lament he's singing.
Poor Jenny clocked out like
Oh.
Big Ben. This
Oh, no,
Screech,
okay.
dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow.
Man.
Patrick, man, let me in. Please open the door. I think I fucked up.
He just does it all
Really
himself.
fucked up, man.
Just
I'm
by
not
himself.
Sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor.
Oh, no.
I think I killed her, Patrick. Come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate. With something far more sinister in mind that does away.
So this is all purposeful. It feels like it's not, but the heavy
Hey, babe, you in?
breathing.
No, nothing really. I'm just a bit tired. Listen,
great.
can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck's sakes!
I'm feeling some Holden Caulfield right here. You know what I'm talking about
Siren
there.
sounds approaching like a banshee.
Young
in the
man,
night. The
troubled.
shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's
Ooh,
fucking have you
jeez.
then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working
Oh,
London
God.
on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Of course. Yeah. God. Yeah, again, all very well thought out. The whole thing.
Story, it ends
Jeez.
right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God.
An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
No. Jeez. I mean, even that is like, oh, okay. That's halfway. Oh, Violet's dead. Oh, there's more. Huh. This is like an old school English ballad for real, which I love. I always say, so I'm going to pause real quick. So there's a lot that I want to mention in some of these. There was a line, and I'll mention some more. I'll go into this a little deeper afterwards. So stick afterwards, because I want to get back to this as quickly as possible. But man, when he said something about Jenny freezing like a statue, and there's like a lady-shaped stalactite, that made me think of so many different images, including Ovid's Metamorphoses, actually. So I'm gonna point out something about that. I love Ovid, and I love his Metamorphoses. So I want to get into that. And then, of course, all the Screech's tale and the possession by the devil. I see a lot of Macbeth and Caravaggio and Orestes, being possessed by fates. I mean, there's just so much here that it's just chock full of meaning. And the fact that he, I'd love to learn more about his process. Not, I mean, the creative process, but just like the production process, because this has a feeling of being just like kind of spontaneous and like I'm just a guy on the street. But I could tell you as a creator, and I went to film school and produced some minor stuff, nothing like this, but this is very thoughtful. Like the breath moves up, and he has eliminated breath, for instance, throughout all the song. But there's that one moment right before he makes the phone call, and he's got some breaths all of a sudden. And it's very loud. Well, they did that on purpose. That was not an accident. And you really kind of enter into that feeling right before he gets enraged and then goes out and then, of course, is killed. So, okay, let's get back into it. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, the sickness theme, I'm saying. But man, this guy. I was gonna say kid, but he's not. He's a man, not a kid. He is talented. He does look young, though. I don't know how old he is here, but he's got a youthful exuberance about him. I hope he does some acting, because he's got the face for it. If he hasn't already, has he? I mean, like he's got like some stuff going on.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting
very
just
ballad-like
to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstains. She saw a lady weep. She's tired and frail. To set the scene,
beautiful.
We must rewind the
Perfect.
hands of time for Violet's tale.
So good. Jeez. Whew, just the talent. All right. Oh, shift and beat. I like it.
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick.
Tell me how you really feel.
Violet was a silent girl and Violet, she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie, but never left the room. History repeats itself and paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent,
Jesus,
things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. hit like hailstones. One to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone crack, knick knack, paddywhack. One to the jaw and the tooth back, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I wanna do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet.
Man, that descending, everything. Flawless.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Man, okay. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to pause here and I want to come back with a bunch of thoughts. That was a very powerful ending. Give me a second. Okay. Wow. So, boy, I'm still, like, I thought I had my thoughts together, but I do. Hold on. Okay. That was such an experience. And I look forward to returning to it more. I just kind of listened through a little bit more of it just now to kind of prepare, because I wasn't prepared for the level of kind of literary references. And I don't even know if he's doing it on purpose, and that doesn't really matter. I don't think great artists should do it on purpose. I think they should develop themselves to the best that they can and then create. And the development of the soul is through life experience, through doing things, through experimenting with your own work. And to me, it is through the revisiting of the masters who came before you and the, valuing and learning and loving them and disagreeing with them and then creating your own new vision of the world. And that's definitely what this gentleman, Wren, is doing. So there's a lot that came to mind. I mentioned Middlemarch by George Eliot, Marianne Evans. This is a story where I think, I don't want to go through the whole details because it'll take forever, but if you want to go to troubadour.studio, I'm starting to develop more courses and things like that to help people get a great sense of these books outside of academia, just anybody who wants to, which I think everybody should. But there's a real shift in English novels starting, I think, with Middlemarch. There's a big shift in, this kind of marriage, that there's struggle, but then there's a kind of happy ending. Middlemarch and the Bronte sisters are real beginning to a shift of like more tragedy involved in this. Now, Middlemarch still has a happy ending, but this is Marianne Evans, or George Eliot is Marianne Evans's pen name. And she is writing a story of a kind of doomed innocent, but there's some rectification in her story. She was very influential for Thomas Hardy, who wrote a series of great novels, and the best one is probably Tess of D'Urberville's. And this is much more in line with what I'm hearing in this story. I don't want to give everything away. It's a great novel. worth reading and exploring the life of this. Basically, there's a lot of parallels here of this heroine. So she's an ordinary young woman. She's placed into circumstances that lead inexorably to her tragedy. She's assaulted, betrayed, and eventually bad things happen to her. Just like Jenny is cut down in the street as she walks, that she had walked 1,000 times before, that kind of idea. There's a line in Hardy: the president of the immortals in Escalin phrase had ended his sport with Tess. And that reminded me of I Guess That She Escaped, It's Such a Shame by Ren. There's a lot of parallels. I could tell that on some level, Ren either read a lot of these English novels. I mean, he's obviously coming up in England, and they had an impact on him. And there's a lot to be said about the shifting narratives that happened over a couple hundred years in England. I also got a lot, like there was a line that really stuck with me, which is this freezes statue like a lady-shaped stalactite, which stalactites, I always loved the word because it reminds me of a time when I was a kid and we went to Carlsbad Caverns and we saw these stalagmites, I think, and stalactites. So they think of it's coming from up, down, and there's those. But it's just, it has a kind of universality in terms of it feels like something that's been created, but it's also been there forever. And she has that, she freezes, which is a dominant theme that occurs throughout Metamorphoses by Ovid, which is, he's a Roman poet around the time of Augustus. Someone else we read in the literary canon club that I run. And one of the things, again, that you see in this is a lot of like a story of Niobe, who's she's transformed through horrible tragedy that occurs to her into a weeping rock, right? So that's part of what happens to her. Obviously, the victims of Medusa on the female side, she's a Gorgon, so her hair turns people into stone is a big part of it. But there's a lot of, like, the painting that pops into my mind is Apollo and Daphne. And the story is Apollo is chasing after, and there's a painting of Apollo and Daphne. And the story from Ovid is that Apollo falls in love with this woman. It's a long, complicated backstory, as a lot of Greek stories are. He's actually struck by Cupid, essentially, and he falls in love with this mortal, but she wants to follow Artemis, a kind of virgin. And anyway, so she's running away from him, and she's chasing her and chasing her and chasing her. And it's kind of this immortalized within the stories of Greek. But the whole idea is that it's this immortal cycle. And I got a lot of that through this trilogy. So this is a very good trilogy by Ren that puts all this together, and it just never ends. And so it's like this forever chase between Daphne and Apollo, or Apollo and Daphne. But then she eventually turns into a tree. She is a river god, basically grants Daphne the power, which has a kind of happy ending in a sense, happier than what happens to Jenny anyway. I mean, it's not what Daphne wants, but so the idea of petrification, I mean, boy, some of the more powerful stuff. So the Jenny was a horrific story and a tragic story. I mean, we just saw something in America when I'm recording this that has captivated the world. I don't care what your political views are. The image of this person, I don't want to mention because I don't want to get into, this argument or discussion, but the image of this individual, this is September 2025, if you want to Google this, has captured the hearts of the whole world in a sense. And there's all kinds of things happening about it. So that image is just such a powerful one. And I think he captures it in his laments and his rhythms. And this is Ren. But then the murder, the possession and violence that happens with this 14-year-old kid. And again, it's for him, I got a real sense of, he must have read Anthony Burgess, A Clockwork Orange, and not just the movie, which I think the movie is fantastic, but the actual story and kind of the intense madness of this young man who's not being forgiven. I don't get the sense by Ren that he's forgiven for this. That's not what the story's about. It's really about the totality of London and the kind of intersecting lives and cycle of violence, but he's putting it in a very much more, I think, interestingly updated ballad style. And there's some Caravaggio, Judith beheading Houfernes, which I always think is a terrifying image that I got in this sense. The Flight by Screech, to me calls back to Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment and I think I did something wrong, right? But he's not fully in it yet. I think of Edvard Munch's The Murderer, expression, depiction of guilt. So he's what I got from Ren, again, was not a forgiveness or like, it's okay. Oh, he did something and it's not his fault. There is a kind of punishment that he has, the murderer, even though it's like, it's part of this whole cycle thing. There is a punishment. And part of the punishment is one, he does get retribution. So in poetry and drama, we call that poetic justice. He does get that, even though it's part of this whole horrific cycle of violence that how do you escape it is part of the sadness of this whole story. The whole hubris aspect, come on then, you fucking C-words, I'm the Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. I mean, that is, I am the killer of men, I am the person, kind of young bravado leading to doom. I think there's a lot of powerful images of that in literature and drama. And then I'll just end with, I think Wuthering Heights is a really interesting parallel to The History Repeats Itself, because that's a big part of the abuse, repetition, destructive relationships across generations. And East of Eden by Steinbeck is another one, actually, that's more of a Cain and Abel one. That's more of a brother killing brother, but it's this cycle that's like, is it ever going to end? Can it end? And there was a painting I'll put up here, Woman with Dead Child, which just captures to me the lament. And again, I could keep going. There's so much here. I don't want to make this a 2-hour, it's already a long one. Let me see. I took a couple other notes. Yeah. So I'll just say one of my favorite things so far about the Reniverse that you guys have introduced, or that I've been introduced to, is I do see him as a modern bard. I called him a jongleur, but he's a troubadour and a jongleur. So a troubadour, this is interesting historical fact. So the troubadours of the 12th and 13th century were not the ones who actually sang the songs. They're the ones who wrote the songs, because it was actually looked down on to sing songs. That's what a jongleur would come in and he would play, because that's what the lower class would perform. And then people would look at them in the court and cheer them. Or no, sorry, they wouldn't cheer the jongleur. That's an interesting difference. They would, after a performance of a jongleur, they would look up to the troubadour. So like if you imagine them up here, and then they would kind of look up and they would kind of like clap to him. They wouldn't, the jongleur was the kind of person that you would bring through the back way and watch the silverware with. They were not well respected, but they, were needed. But so anyway, it's a little history tangent. I don't know if you're interested in that, but Ren really makes me think of this integration of, he's a real bard though. He is the troubadour and the jongleur. He's kind of both of those things moving forward. And I just want to, again, I'll just end with this because we got to move on, but man, he is doing this consciously. It's not an accident, and that's, everything's purposeful. He's thoughtful about it. The imagery, the cinematography, I was a film major, like all that stuff is beautiful. And I friggin' feel it when Screech has been shot. There's a sculpture, the Dying Gaul. And I'll put that up here too. Man, there's that sense of like when he crouches down and he's singing to you as the lights go out, like, damn, that's good. Okay. So, what else should I, go? You can leave in the comments what you think. And you can also join me at Art Social. So troubadour.studio/art social, share Ren stuff that you want, or share other things. That one's open to the public. I do have some that are behind paywalls. And again, you could check out my translation, Experience New Forms of Art. I think it's such a wonderful way to experience the world, whether it's current events or other contemporary art. See you next time. Wow.